Welcome to my channel. As a Christmas gift, I received from Lydia Amazon gift card to purchase this beautiful set of Derwent Inktense Paint pens. You know that I love Inktense pencils, so I hope that Inktense paints will be very helpful in books like Tolkien or Book of Alena for Kerberos, where I need to do big areas with paints, where I can't work with pencils because of the size of the book, and where paper doesn't react very well with regular watercolors. So look at this lovely set. As far as I know, 24 is the biggest existing set now. They also have 12s, but I decided that I need the full palette of this beauty. It's very attractive. Inside we have this white box, and it was included this water brush, and if you want to use it as a travel set for sketches, this foam also will be very helpful. Unfortunately, mine, even if it was packed nicely from Amazon, it arrived with one paint damaged, but I don't think that it's really matter. I managed to put it inside. It was just broken into several parts, but that's okay. And inside it was included this nice pre-printed swatch card on plastic. It gives you first impression about colors, but I decided that of course I want to do my own swatch on paper because I want to know how they would react with smaller and bigger amount of water. And second thing, which is really interesting, you know that watercolors after drying, especially on not very good paper in coloring books, watercolors, they lose vibrancy, they became much less intense, they generally start to look much paler. So it's interesting for me, this transformation for Inktense. For Inktense pencils, it doesn't create such effect on paper, they still remain vibrant after drying, after activating water and then drying. So I really want to do my own swatch. I was very happy to find that here we have mix of some new colors. Colors actually, they match colors of pencils. So there are several familiar for me from my set of 72 Inktense pencils, like my lovely red oxide or violet or fuchsia, which I absolutely love. But there are also several new colors from their new pencils, which I don't have yet. So it will be very interesting for me to look at mango or kiwi, for example. And I also love this dark plum. I love it already here, so I hope that I also will love it on paper. Now I intend to do quick swatch. I use this paper, which is like paper for sketching, but it has nice density. I did quick palette, and for white I did a little bit of black rectangular because I'm really curious how this white, what opacity it has, and will it be able to mask at least a little bit of black? Could it be used for masking lines? I let my swatch card to dry, and you can see final look of all the paints. I would say that they still look very vibrant, and I'm very pleased how they look when they are finally dried. So first thing which I noticed is that with paints it's much easier to get light pastel colors, which for me was difficult to do with pencils. Even when I tried to apply very light layer of pencil pigment, still after activating they still look very vibrant, and when I needed such transparent light colors, I combined my Inktense with watercolor pencils like Kohinoor Mondeluz. Now for me it's easier to control amount of water and to get more vibrant, more rich color, or to get more light and transparent. Texture of paints slightly vary. I think that it depends from the pigment used. Some of them look more transparent. We can clearly see it, for example, here in blue line. Several are transparent, and one, like my mid ultramarine or this kiwi, they feel more opaque, they look more chalky, but it's a good thing, I don't mind. You just have to think about it maybe when you do blends. White is semi-opaque. With two layers you probably will be able to cover some of the lines, but it's not perfect way. I think that much more interesting usage of this milky or chalky effect would be on dark surfaces to create some galaxy space effects. So that's where I intend to use this paint. For snow also, I was very pleased how Payne's Gray behave, because I have Payne's Gray pencil, but I think that it has some problems because I never was able to get any color from Payne's Gray. I think that I need to purchase new pencil. I definitely was unlucky with this one because Payne's Gray, it looks absolutely amazing, exactly what I need. Dark gray with a little bit of bluish underpaint, nothing similar to my pencil. So I think that I need to go to the art shop and to check if we have this Payne's Gray pencil. Well, there are several colors which are definitely my favorites. I totally fall in love with this turquoise. I love dark plum, fuchsia, violet, and I love greens which they included. Kiwi, new color is okay, ochre's green, Ionian green, which always was my favorite between pencils, and we have this new green, this racing green. If such pencil exists in the new range, I definitely need it because it's very nice. I always felt that dark greens in Inktense range, they can be extended, so I'm glad that they added new darkening color and they all look quite nice. I have only two complaints about color palette. First, instead of navy blue, which here is supposed to be the darkest blue, I would include either iron blue or deep indigo from pencil palette. You know that they have similar colors. Several of them are from the old range of 72. Several like mango or dark plum or kiwi. They are from the new colors, and now I am even more curious to add those colors to my collection in pencils. But anyway, I feel that this navy blue isn't dark enough, so when you need to do really very dark sky, very deep blue water, maybe you will need to blend navy blue with Payne's Gray, because I know that in pencils deep indigo and iron blue, they are darker. Navy is pleasant color, just not dark enough. And my another complaint is with brown colors. I really love madder brown, so it's pity that they decided not to include it. Maybe instead of ink black, which is so-so, it's more like dark gray, I would include madder brown. I absolutely love this one, and maybe another brown color would be nice. But, well, still, it's possible to blend a little bit. Otherwise, I think that palette is well balanced. I love how they behaved. I love how they flow over the paper. Of course, with every paint, paper is a big deal, and I tested them on several surfaces. But first, I want to mention one important moment which I noticed. Pencils, after water activating and then after drying, they become maybe 95% permanent. Yes, if you applied very thick layer and you used only a little bit of water, then they can be reactivated later if not the whole pigment was dissolved with water from the first step. Then later you apply water again and the rest of the pigment will be dissolved again. But if you use thin layer, after drying they become totally permanent. And I noticed that, well, for me, those paints, they could be reactivated with water and pigment will move again, very similar to regular watercolors. So from my first experience, yes, it was only like 30 minutes of playing with them, I think that they are far from being as permanent as those pencils. It's not a bad thing, you just have to remember it when you decide to do layering with multiple various art supplies. For example, I knew that if I do first layer with Inktense, then on top of them I can use layer of Posca or I can use layer of gouache, and previous layer won't absorb the next pigment. Your white, which you put on top of this, won't turn into a light pink or light blue, which quite often happens with Prismacolor pencils when you put on top of it Posca. But with these paints you have to be more accurate, because yeah, I think that they could be reactivated. But I think that I need to do more explorations and more tests. Well, my first impression is very positive, mostly because I love their vibrancy and how highly pigmented they are. You need just a tiny drop of paint and you have very beautiful color. I also tested the brush and I was very happy. It maintains nice thin tip. It controls water really nice. I used it just once for this heart, where background I did with Inktense pencil, and I activated it with this brush. It was easy to work, nice thin tip and good water flow, so brush is really helpful. Also, I tested them on the books where I have either big expectations or big problems. Big expectations, it's about this Alliance word created by Ukrainian manufacturer. Paper is very thick and very good for pencils, but I felt like it absorbs vibrancy of watercolors. So I tested my Inktense here. Result was similar, so they blended well, they didn't create ugly stains, so paper didn't absorb pigment quickly, so you will be able to do those blends and interesting mixes. I know that you won't be using Ukrainian edition, but it's important for me. But yeah, again, if you compare this vibrancy and this vibrancy, I would say that paper absorbs pigment a little bit and they look a little bit more dull after drying. But still, as I intend to use them only as a first layer and then I will add details, maybe second layer with pencils, for me it's okay. Most of all, I'm glad that they didn't create ugly borders between colors. Quite often it can happen when paper absorbs your color very quickly and you don't have enough time for blending. Second, it was my epic World of Tolkien. Guys, well, here it was a failure, because again, paper didn't want to work with Inktense paints also. The same problem as with watercolors, strange dots which appeared here. When you use only tiny amount of water, it's possible to work somehow. When you apply bigger amount of water, the same problem as I had with watercolors here, so only if you intend to cover this layer later with pencils, you will be able to use them. So I think that for this book I will stick to acrylic and gouache. And another paper which doesn't want to work with watercolors, which I discovered here. Here was that problem when you apply watercolor, it created dots and also it absorbed pigment immediately, and you got those very hard borders between color. You don't have enough time for spreading pigment, for blending colors. And that's another book where I mostly use gouache paint, because there it was possible. Oh, I mask ugly areas with metal or pearl watercolors, but here that's gouache, and gouache. Here I was very pleasantly surprised. I think that for Inktense, paper behave really well, so I did only small test. Didn't want to ruin any other page, but here blending was great. I really love how pigment covered paper, so I definitely will be using Derwent for this book. And I think that slightly crazy bright colors of this set, it will be perfect match for Escape to Wonderland. So I definitely can recommend this set. My first impression is very positive. Of course, I will be doing more tests. I will try it in bigger variety of books. But if you love Inktense, I think that it will be really good addition, because with pencils it's problematic to do backgrounds, and this set together with pencils, perfect match. I just hope that they will extend the range. 24 colors is okay, but with a full set of Inktense in 100 colors, I think that some of them definitely can be transformed also in paints, because they have unique colors. But for now, I am totally happy, and I hope that very soon on my channel I will post a few color alongs using this beautiful set. Again, huge thanks to Lydia, who sent me Amazon gift card, and I used it for purchasing this set. Well, I will see you very soon, and if you have your own experience with this set, if you know which paper is good for it, where you tested it maybe in several books, I will be very happy to hear your opinion. Thank you, and until the next videos.